Hello, Coughlin616 here. In this video, I want to do something that is probably going to get me a lot of shit. People have this weird thing, they come onto YouTube, which is a video sharing site, and yet what they tend to do is click on a video, read its title, or watch the first 10 seconds of it, and then respond assuming they know what the fuck you're going to talk about and say. Which is weird, really, because it's kind of like, why the fuck would you come on here in the first place to do that? I want to make a defence of faith. Now, faith is one of the dirty words here on YouTube in this sort of community that we're a part of here. If you even use it in any form whatsoever, you'll immediately have 400 militant anti-theistic fuckwads jumping on your neck, bashing you for even suggesting such a concept. The word faith is one of them. Anyone who uses the word faith to describe anything, or puts the word faith in any sentence or description of the nature of their perspective on it, immediately it's considered invalid. But I want to make an argument here in defence of faith. And when I say faith, I don't mean faith I'm not talking about faith as in faith in a specific thing. And I mean faith, there are obviously a couple of definitions of faith. You can have faith in something and it can just mean trust. There is the other definition, which is normally used here in terms of the religious context, which is of course faith as in believing with little or no evidence, or evidence to the contrary. That is considered the ultimate deadly sin on here, for anyone to argue that faith in any way a good thing, or that having faith in something is not a bad thing. I want to make a counter-argument to that, because if we look at this from a scientific standpoint, human beings, there are many aspects of human nature and human characteristic which have been around and are still around and are prevalent throughout the majority of humanity and have been around since the dawn of time. And generally what happens is the ones that lack beneficial qualities tend to be cast off into a minority, or tend to just fade out completely. These are beliefs and ideologies and character traits which are not beneficial to us. Faith has been around. Faith in terms of just believing in something with little or no evidence is not something that's exclusive to theists, and it's not something that's exclusive to religion. It's something that is, I believe, within everybody, and I think to some extent we all demonstrate acts of faith in that regard. And I think if it's been around that long, and if it's still around, and if it's still as prevalent, then it can't all be bad. There must be some beneficial element to it. I would argue that great feats of humanity throughout history, things that have broken the mould, things that have pushed the outside of the envelope, things that have redefined our perspective, have been done so with an element or a great deal of faith, of belief that this is possible without evidence. If there are things that human beings can do that have never been done before, or have never been attempted, or that have been attempted and have failed, then you would have to argue that there is little or no evidence to believe that this thing was possible. For example, the first person who ever climbed to the top of a mountain, even though many people who had tried had died in the process, would have had to believe that they could do it, even though all the evidence pointed against that. The people who sailed across great oceans, the first person to jump out of a plane with a parachute before anyone else had ever done it, the first people to go to the moon, and not just in feats of human advancement, but also in aspects of artistic creation. Comedians who have told jokes that have that at the time were considered so controversial there was no reason to believe that you would ever become successful, or that these jokes would ever be successful. But in order to promote a form of music, or that was groundbreaking, or to have a piece of art, a creation of yours that would be controversial or would cause outrage amongst humanity, amongst the people, because it would be so different and would be so provocative that it would actually more than likely fail, and people would have very little interest in investing in that. And yet you believe that this is the right thing to do. You believe you can do this, even though you can't. And look where we've come because of that. The advancements that have been made within humanity have been done so by people who believed that something was there, that believed that something could be done when everyone else told them not to. That was something that there was little or no evidence, or even evidence to the contrary. And when by doing it, they paved the road for others to build up the confidence to do it too. And that, I would say, is a damn good reason that faith is still around, and something that you could argue is how faith can be beneficial. It's not that you've got faith, it's what you've got faith in. This is Coughlin 616 saying take care of yourself and your mother.